ParaEdPro is a professional training initiative designed to prepare paraprofessionals to function as educational practitioners, not as informal helpers or passive support staff. This work begins with a clear premise. Paraprofessionals are among the adults who spend the most time with students, and proximity creates responsibility. When that responsibility is not matched with professional training, clarity, and ethical grounding, students are underserved, often unintentionally. Traditional paraprofessional training tends to focus on compliance or task completion. ParaEdPro begins with professional identity, because how paraprofessionals understand their role shapes how they act, communicate, and support students. This work is grounded in the belief that students deserve well-prepared adults, and paraprofessionals deserve training that reflects the importance of the work they do. You are a professional, act like one. This course begins the ParaEdPro Core series with a foundational premise. Paraprofessionals are professionals, and professional practice begins with clarity of role. You are a professional, act like one is designed to establish identity before technique. Rather than starting with strategies or procedures, this series focuses on how paraprofessionals understand their position within educational systems and how that understanding shapes daily practice. Throughout this course, participants will develop professional language, role clarity, and ethical grounding necessary to act with confidence, consistency, and purpose in classrooms that demand thoughtful, informed support. This module introduces the central idea that the term paraprofessional has been widely misunderstood within educational systems. That misunderstanding has shaped expectations, limited authority, and, over time, influenced how paraprofessionals see themselves in their work. In this module, we examine how language, titles, and internalized narratives affect professional behavior. By clarifying what paraprofessional actually means, we begin correcting assumptions that quietly undermine confidence and effectiveness. This is not about redefining your role, it is about understanding it accurately so your practice aligns with the responsibility you already carry. To work professionally, we have to be precise with language. The prefix para means alongside, not beneath. A paraprofessional is someone who works alongside licensed educators within a defined scope of practice. In most states, paraprofessionals are not informal helpers. They are credentialed professionals who meet educational requirements and hold a license or authorization through the State Board of Education. Professional status is grounded in preparation, role clarity, ethical responsibility, and accountability. Paraprofessionals operate under established standards because their work directly affects student access, learning, and well-being. When the term paraprofessional is misunderstood, the role is minimized. When it is understood accurately, the role is recognized for what it is: essential, regulated, and professionally grounded practice within educational systems. Many misconceptions about paraprofessionals are not rooted in policy or law, they are cultural assumptions that have been repeated long enough to feel true. One of the most common is the idea that paraprofessionals are informal helpers without professional standing. In reality, paraprofessionals are typically required to meet educational qualifications, complete training, and maintain licensure or authorization through their State Board of Education. Another misconception is that professionalism is tied solely to job titles or degrees. In practice, professionalism is defined by scope of responsibility, ethical conduct, and accountability, areas in which paraprofessionals are already held to clear standards. When these misconceptions go unchallenged, paraprofessionals may be discouraged from exercising appropriate professional judgment. Correcting them is not about overstepping, it is about understanding the role accurately and practicing within it responsibly. It is important to distinguish between being helpful and functioning in a professional role. These are not the same, even though they often overlap in practice. A helper responds to direction as it is given. A professional operates within a defined scope of practice and makes decisions aligned to purpose, policy, and student need. Paraprofessionals are expected to do the latter. Professional roles require judgment, knowing when to support, when to step back, and when to communicate observations to the team. This judgment is informed by training, ethical standards, and ongoing accountability. Caring about students is essential, but professionalism ensures that care is delivered consistently, intentionally, and in ways that support student growth rather than dependency. Paraprofessionals often spend more direct, sustained time with students than any other adult in the classroom. That proximity is not incidental, it carries professional responsibility. Daily interaction places paraprofessionals in a position to observe patterns in engagement, regulation, and learning that may not be visible during brief instructional moments. These observations are not informal, they are professionally relevant information. With proximity comes ethical obligation. Paraprofessionals are expected to act with consistency, maintain boundaries, and use professional judgment in moments that shape student experience. Authority in educational settings is not based only on titles. It also comes from informed presence and responsible action, and paraprofessionals operate at that intersection every day. Knowing the language of your profession helps you understand dynamics of your position within a system. Professional vocabulary is not about sounding important. It is about thinking clearly and acting intentionally. 3 terms you will hear often in this series are scope of practice, ethical responsibility, and professional judgment. Scope of practice refers to the defined responsibilities and boundaries of your role as a paraprofessional. It clarifies what you are expected and authorized to do. Ethical responsibility means acting in ways that protect student dignity, access, and well-being, even when decisions are uncomfortable or require follow-up. Professional judgment is the ability to make informed decisions based on training, observation, and ethical standards, not guesswork or fear. As you learn and use this language, you gain clarity, not just about your role, but about how to operate within it confidently and responsibly. As we close this module, there are 3 key ideas to carry forward. First, paraprofessional does not mean less than. It describes a regulated, professionally grounded role that operates alongside licensed educators within defined responsibilities. Second, how you understand your role shapes how you act within it. Professional identity influences confidence, communication, and decision-making in everyday practice. And third, proximity to students creates responsibility. Paraprofessionals hold professional authority rooted in access, observation, and ethical obligation. These ideas form the foundation for everything that follows in this series. This module was not about adding new tasks or techniques. It was about accuracy, understanding your role clearly and without distortion. When paraprofessionals internalize inaccurate narratives about their position, professional practice becomes constrained. When the role is understood accurately, confidence, consistency, and ethical action follow. As you move forward in this course, carry this foundation with you. The language you use, the decisions you make, and the way you position yourself in classrooms all flow from how you understand your role. In the next module, we will build on this foundation by examining the legal framework that governs your work and why understanding that framework matters for your professional confidence and practice.